Life processes in living organisms 2, Standard 10. This video will explain sexual reproduction in plants. To understand sexual reproduction in plants, we also have to understand the parts of the flower, or they are called whorls, the process of pollination, fertilization, and germination. This is a life cycle of flowering plants, showing how seeds are sown, then germination taking place, after which plants grow, they produce flowers, pollination takes place, thereafter fertilization and seed formation. A flower is a structural unit of sexual reproduction in plants. It consists of 4 floral whorls. Whorls meaning a pattern of spiral or circular or concentric circles, meaning one circle within the other. Now, these 4 whorls are called the calyx, the corolla, the androecium, and the gynoecium. And members of the calyx are called sepals, and members of the corolla are called petals. The calyx is green in color and the corolla has different colors. Both these are called accessory whorls and they are responsible for the protection of the inner whorls of the flower. Then we have the male whorl, which is called the androecium, and the female whorl, which is called the gynoecium. Both these are called essential whorls because they take part in the process of reproduction. Now, members of the androecium are called stamens and they are made up of the anther, the top part, and the filament. Members of the gynoecium are called carpels, and each carpel is made up of the ovary, which is at the base, then a long hollow tube-like structure called the style, and right on top we have the stigma. A flower is called bisexual if both the whorls, that is the androecium and the gynoecium, are present in the same flower, and an example of this is the hibiscus. A flower is called unisexual if only one of the above mentioned 2 whorls is present in the flower. If only androecium is present, it is the male flower. If only gynoecium is present, it is the female flower, and the example of this is papaya. Now, you can see the hibiscus flower has a stalk for support. This stalk is called a pedicel, and hence such flowers are called pedicellate flowers, whereas flowers that grow in bunches without a stalk, they are called sessile flowers. Another process of sexual reproduction is pollination, which occurs with the help of abiotic agents such as wind and water and biotic agents such as insects and other animals. Now, when pollination involves only one flower or 2 flowers born on the same plant, it is called self-pollination. You can see here, if it takes place within the same flower as in A or within another flower of the same plant as in B, this kind of process is called self-pollination. Whereas if pollination takes place between the flower of one plant and the flower of the same species of another plant, as in B to C, It is called cross-pollination. Now let us see what is double fertilization. Now the stigma, which is the upper part of the gynoecium, gets sticky during the process of pollination, and when the pollen grain comes on and settles on it, it sticks there and it starts growing a pollen tube which contains two male gametes. This pollen tube grows and it goes through the style and reaches the embryo sac. When it reaches there, this tip of the pollen tube, which is growing, bursts and two male gametes are released in this embryo sac. Now, one of these gametes, they unite with the egg cell to form the zygote, and this is called fertilization. Whereas the second male gamete, it unites with two polar nuclei and the endosperm is formed. As two nuclei participate in this process, it is called double fertilization. Germination. You have all seen this happening. The ovule develops into a seed and the ovary develops into the fruit after fertilization. Now these seeds fall upon the ground when we throw them there, or the fruits break up, or through animals, and they germinate in the soil under favorable conditions. If they get proper soil, if they get nice water, fertile soil, they germinate. Germination is the process of forming a plantlet from a seed. Now, you can see the seed here forming the embryo, the zygote. It starts developing at the cost of the food stored in the endosperm of the seed, and thus a new plantlet or a small plant is formed, and it still takes the food from the seed. When it grows, then these seeds fall up and a plant is formed. This process is called seed germination. This was the process of sexual reproduction in plants.